I'll welcome you guys back into my next video. So what I want to talk about today is being present in the moment and making sure that you're using your feelings while talking. So when you're using your feelings while talking, guys, you have to be in the feeling of your life. So you have to be present and you have to be always looking at your heart and making sure every single day that you are speaking from the heart. So when you speak from the heart, you're looking at your feelings and you're coming back to your feelings. So I'm right now in the body. So the body is anything to do below the head. So I'm feeling my legs, I'm feeling my arms, I'm feeling my fingers, I'm feeling the senses around me. I'm present in the moment with you. I'm talking, I'm growing at the same time. And I'm making sure that I can go and exist for myself in a better way. So when you're actually doing a nice and beautiful life, and when you're actually doing something to help yourself to succeed, you're making sure that you're present in the moment. So you're making sure every single day that you're coming back to the breathing and that you're always present in terms of your feelings. So every single time you're in your feelings, you're always looking for something to say and you're always looking for something to do in terms of life. So making sure that you understand that if you're somebody who has a smoking addiction or a methamphetamine addiction or maybe an alcohol addiction or some type of addiction in terms of drugs or sex, come back to the feelings. Come back into your word I and make sure you understand that you have to come back to the feelings. So come back to the body and make sure that you pronounce yourself much better throughout life. So every single day I'm always pronouncing myself much better through the feelings, and I'm actually using my heart, I'm using my body to talk to you, and I'm actually feeling my thinking. So as Jamie Smart says, that you have to feel your thinking. Feel what's going on in the present moment. So you have to be present and in the body to be able to be nicely and beautifully present in your life. So every single day of my life, I'm always present in the moment with my feelings. So I'm using my feelings to my advantage, and I'm making sure that I'm using my feelings to talk. And that's how I actually be in the present moment. So when I'm in the present moment, I'm always solely focused on saying something that's actually helping me grow. And I'm actually always helping myself to understand something. So you have to understand every single day of your life that when you're present in the moment, you're using your feelings, and then you come back to the feelings all the time to be making sure that you're overcoming situations with the body. So understand that no matter what, that if you're craving cigarettes or if you're craving drugs, go and fall into the body and you'll understand that it's not that bad and that you're doing a better job while at it in terms of life while you're in the body and while you're actually present in the moment. So when you're present in the moment, you're using your feelings and you're making sure that you're doing something pronouncing, in terms of you're doing something that's pronouncing you moving forward, and you're making sure every single day of your life that you're always delivering content. So you have to be delivering content, guys, to actually be present and in the moment. So you have to understand that it's much more about your feelings today, and it's about making sure that you're delivering content in terms of life where you can actually do better for yourself. So every single time you drop in, you're dropping back into the body and you're dropping back into the feelings, and you have to understand that physical withdrawals happen 5% of the time when you're in addiction to drugs. So you must understand that your body can take the addiction, and your body is able to take, in terms of withdrawal symptoms from cigarettes and alcohol and drugs, through the body. And then you have to understand that once you fall into the body and into the emotions of your life, then you're understanding that 95% of the addiction is psychological, and you have to understand that 5% of the addiction is withdrawal symptoms from the body. So you have to understand that if you just fall into the body and if you just be in the present moment with your body and feelings, then you're going to understand what to say, and you're going to understand also that you can overcome any addiction you want to overcome as long as you feel good. So you have to feel good, and you have to develop your freedom and courage, and you have to understand that you have to develop yourself in the moment, and you have to be able to talk, and you have to be able to be consistent with what you say. So every single time now, I'm always developing myself. I'm always making sure that I have something to say. So the more I say something, the more I do. And it's just about speaking, and it's about talking, and it's about communicating. So when you communicate, you're communicating through the body. And what is the body? The body is anything to do with below the head. So you're in your heart. You're in your body. You're in your guts. You're in the actual present moment of being inside of your legs and your arms, and you're always feeling the situation. So feel the situation of what's happening in the moment. with your body. So when you're actually doing that, you'll understand that craving cigarettes and craving drugs is not as important, because your feelings are going to show you 5% of the withdrawal symptoms. So for example, when a cigarette smoker craves drugs, they crave drugs psychologically, which is 95% of the addiction is in the head. I mean, in a sense, so for example, methamphetamine users, or anybody who's heroin addiction, or anybody who uses meth or cigarettes or alcohol, is 95% in the head. I mean, in a sense of what the whole point of living life is to be present and in the moment. And to be present in the moment, you have to understand that your mind is awareness, but your body is much more aware than the mind itself. So you must understand that when you're living in the feelings and in the body, you're much more able to overcome addiction than being in your head, because thoughts arise. And this is where Jamie Smart says, when thoughts arise, feel the thinking. I mean, feel yourself thinking. You're saying, be in constant feeling of your life. Be in the constant feeling of being in the present moment with your feelings. So you must understand that when I was a cigarette user, what I'll do is I'll drop back into my feelings, and I'll feel the situation. If I'm craving drugs, then I feel the situation of the craving. I'm feeling the situation of craving the drugs, for example. So when I feel the cravings, I feel it, and it's always that my body is showing me 5% of the withdrawals, and my head, in terms of my mindset, is showing me 95% of the addiction. So my mind craves the drugs, for example. So when my mind craves the drugs, I drop back into the feelings, and then 5% of the feelings, or 100% of the feelings is showing me 5% of the withdrawals. So you must understand that your body craves drugs 5% of the time, and your body, in terms of your mindset, craves drugs 95% of the time. In a sense, so if you drop back into the body, then you realize that the addiction to drugs and alcohol and sex and food and drink is 5% of the addiction when you drop back into the body. So when you're actually in the body, you understand that people who do drugs and sex with other people who are addicted to drugs and sex and food and drink are 95% of the time in the head. In a sense, so you must understand that if you drop back into your feelings, and if you drop back into the present moment of your body awareness, you realize that you're not craving drugs, and that you're not craving cigarettes and sex with other people and food and drink, when you're actually dropping into the feelings. So when you drop in, when you're actually in the feelings, you're able to overcome the sex, and you're able to overcome drugs and alcohol, and you're able to overcome food and drink, because you're in the body. So when your body needs energy, that's when you eat. The only time to eat is when your body needs energy. So every single time, there are many people who are overweight and obese, and because they are overweight and obese is because they're in their heads, and they're too much in their heads, and they're trying to overcome life with their mindset. But the best way to overcome life with your mindset is to drop back into the body and to drop back into your feelings. So when you're actually in the feelings, you're actually able to overcome any kind of food and drink out there, and you're able to overcome sex and drugs and alcohol and all that stuff. So you must understand that you have to come back into the feelings, and you have to feel your thinking. So for example, if my mindset's craving drugs, I drop back into the feelings, and I look at my body. Is my body craving drugs? Right now, my body's not craving drugs. But my mindset right now is not craving drugs either. Same, because I'm a non-smoker. I never take drugs. I'm not doing drugs ever again. So I never have sex with other people. So why is that? Because I never need to. I never need to have sex with other people. But the thing is that if I ever have sex with other people, it's because I want to make a kid, and that's it. Every single time now, you must understand that if you want to communicate to other people, you have to go with the feelings, and you have to go with the heart. And the heart of your life is in the body. So you must understand that literally, I'm talking about the heart. I'm talking about your heart. You have to always be in the heart, and you always have to be in your body. So when you're in your body, you're feeling life, and you're actually understanding much more about what to say and how to say it, because you're in the body. And you have to feel your way throughout life, and you have to understand that when you communicate to people, you communicate from the heart. You communicate from the body. So to live in the body is to be detached from all kinds of thinking. And you must understand that, for example, if you're a non-smoker, if you're a smoker or somebody who does drugs, if you drop into the body, then it's only 5% of the addiction. So the addiction happens in the mindset. So people who take drugs and alcohol, is because the mindset that they have is poor. And you must understand that if you drop into the feelings and into the heart, then you can overcome these nice and beautiful situations that you're so much more wanting to quit alcohol and drugs, for example. So to quit alcohol and drugs, you have to drop back into the body, and you have to be present in the body awareness, and you have to be inside of your body. So for example, right now, for example, let's say that if my mindset is craving drugs, I drop back into the body, and my body says that it's not craving drugs. I realize my body is always feeling me a good feeling. I'm always having a good feeling in my body and mindset because I'm in the body. I'm never in the mindset. I'm never going in the mindset. I'm never trying to do anything other than use the mind through my body. So I'm always understanding that the more I use my body awareness to overcome situations, the better I become. So you must understand that sometimes your mindset may crave drugs, or it may crave food and drink, or it may crave sex with other people. But what you do is you drop back into the body, and you start feeling the thinking, as Jamie Smart says. So you start feeling that thinking. I mean, you start feeling the thinking. But if I was just in my head, for example, I mean, I'd be like, oh, sex and drugs, and I mean, I cannot take it. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I mean, I'd be saying to myself, I cannot do that. I mean, you understand, because that's the positive way of thinking, that you can never do sex with other people, and you can never, for example, have drugs for yourself and food and drink. I mean, you understand? But what you do is, I mean, what you can do is you can have everything, but the thing is, it's about positive thinking, yeah? So when I'm in my mindset, I understand that straight away. I'm aware only from the throat up. I mean, you understand? So my mindset is right here. I mean, you understand? My mindset is my head, for example. And I never live in the head. I live in the body. I mean, in a sense, so when I live in the body, my feelings tell me that I never crave drugs. I never crave cigarettes. I never crave any type of drugs or sex with other people. I never crave to masturbate because I'm in the body. I'm always overcoming the situation with my body. I mean, you understand? So I'm using my body awareness to talk. I'm using my body awareness to overcome the drugs. I'm using my body awareness to be able to be present and in the moments. I mean, do you understand? So anybody who's in the head is thinking too much. I mean, anybody who's in the head right here from the throat up is thinking too much. For example, if you're playing poker, or if you're doing something around people, or if you're talking to people, I mean, be feeling the situation. Understand? I mean, the more you feel throughout life, the more you're going to understand that cravings happen in the mindset, and it never happens in the body. I mean, understand? But sometimes your body may be rumbling. I mean, it may be hungry. I mean, you may be so hungry, but do you need to eat really? I mean, do you really need to eat, or do you have energy while your actual body is grumbling? I mean, yeah. I mean, do you understand? Sometimes your body grumbles because you're so hungry. I mean, is your body telling you that you're hungry right now? But most of the time, it's going to say no. I mean, most of the time, your body is not hungry right now because you're watching me. I mean, you understand? But the thing is that, for example, when you get hungry for food and drink, your body starts to grumble, and it starts to say, hey, give me some food and drink. I mean, so what you do is, do you have energy in that moment? So when you feel yourself grumbling for food and drink, I mean, do you still have energy while you're grumbling? Because if you have energy while you're grumbling, then that's a good sign that you never need to eat food and drink. I mean, you only ever need to eat food and drink when you absolutely have no energy anymore. I mean, so the only time to eat is to have yourself to pick up your energy skills and to pick up the energy of your body. I mean, understand? I mean, that's the only time to eat and food and drink. I mean, understand? So the only time to do sex and drugs with other people, or to do sex with other people and to do drugs and alcohol, is to fall into the actual presence of your moments, and to be able to be present is to overcome those situations. So make sure you're never doing drugs and sex with other people. I mean, make sure you're never having sex unless you have a kid. So to be present and in the moment is to be feeling constantly your feelings. So for example, if I'm a smoker and if I crave cigarettes right now, it's because my mindset is craving cigarettes, but my body is never craving the cigarettes. I promise you, my body, because I live in the feelings, I realize 5% of the addiction right here is because I'm in the body. But if I was to live in a mindset, if I was to live in my mind, then I'd be tackling 95% of the addiction. So what you do is you drop back into the body, and that's already 95% of the addiction is gone from your life, because you're just living in the body and you're feeling your way through life. Because withdrawal symptoms happen in the head much more than it happens in the body. So you must understand that if a smoker or somebody who's a drug addict or somebody who's having sex with other people and is addicted to having sex with other people, I mean, you have to understand that the mindset is using you. And you must understand that what you do is you drop back into the body and you feel your way through those situations. So if you want to overcome sex or drugs or anything like that, drop back into the feeling, and the feelings will tell you that you are not addicted. Because anybody who needs to have sex with other people or anybody who needs to do drugs and alcohol is living in the head. I mean, in a sense, so when you're living in the head, it's much more difficult to overcome situations than it is to overcome anything of the body. So you must understand that you never overcome the body. I mean, what you do is you live in the body, and you always have to understand that you have to overcome life itself. I mean, in a sense, so to overcome life itself, you live in the body awareness, and you're always just being present and in the moment with your body. So for example, I'm a non-smoker, but let's say my brain is craving drugs, for example, then that's 95% of the addiction right there, because my brain tells me have cigarettes, or have caffeine, or have drugs, or have sex with other people, for example. My brain would be telling me that. But then what I do instead is I say, I've been living too much in my head. So what I do is I drop back into the body and I say, does my feelings tell me, am I craving drugs or alcohol? Or, I mean, does my feelings show me that I have to have sex with other people? I mean, my feelings most of the time says that I never have to have sex with other people. And my feelings in terms of my body tells me I never need drugs, because I'm feeling good already. So why do I need drugs when I feel good? I mean, I feel good. So when I feel good, that's because I'm living in the body. I mean, because I'm feeling good. I'm feeling my way, and right now I'm feeling good. But let's say that I'm a smoker of cigarettes. I mean, usually when I was a smoker of cigarettes, I'd be craving cigarettes, and I'd be smoking and chain smoking so much, and I'd be telling myself, I have to quit. But my body never craves cigarettes and drugs. Or else my body, in terms of my heart and my soul, never craves cigarettes or drugs. So when I actually drop back into the body, I'm much more aware of the situation. And you're always much more aware of the situation when you're living in the body and when you're living in awareness. I mean, in a sense, so when you're living in the body, your body can tackle the situation, and you just have to feel your thinking. You understand? So when you feel your thinking, you're actually in the body awareness. And when you're actually in the body awareness, you're able to overcome situations, and you're able to overcome this life itself. I mean, you're able to always grow yourself. So for example, if you want to approach a woman or a man to have a date with them, I promise you, sometimes people who are in their head say to themselves, oh, I have to approach her, I have to approach her, I have to approach him, I have to approach him, I have to approach him, I mean, I have to back away, I have to back away, I have to back away. And then guess what happens? Because you're too much in the head and you're too much thinking, I promise you never end up approaching that man or woman, because you're too much thinking. But if you're in the body, I mean, the body says just go. I mean, just go and approach. I mean, the body awareness tells you just approach, and there's no thinking about it. I mean, in a sense, so your body never thinks. I mean, there's no such thing as thinking in the body. I mean, in a sense, so when you're in the body, you're never in the mindset anymore. I mean, you're never in your brain anymore. I mean, there are two types of people. I mean, one person lives in the head and another person lives in the body. I mean, you have to understand that I'm the person who lives in the body. I'm living in the feeling perspective. So when I feel my way through life, I'm actually feeling good all the time. Even though I'm a bit overweight right now, I'm feeling good. I'm still feeling good. I mean, understand? I still feel young and vibrant. I mean, understand? So when you're living in the body, I'm never craving drugs. I'm never craving sex with other people. I'm never craving masturbation anymore, because my body can overcome the situation. So when you're actually naturally in the body all the time, there's no time for thinking. But for example, sometimes before in my life where I was a cigarette smoker and I was doing drugs, I mean, my mindset would tell me, hey, go do drugs, go do drugs, go do drugs. I mean, just have the last hit of caffeine. I mean, just go and have one more cigarette. I mean, one more cigarette. I mean, there's no such thing as one more cigarette, as Alan Carr says. So, for example, when I drop into my body, or else my body tells me, no, I don't feel like cigarettes at all. I'm feeling good the way I am. I mean, in a sense, so when I feel good the way I am, my mindset is trying to always get me to have cigarettes and to always to do drugs and alcohol. I mean, in a sense, because my mindset is craving the drugs and alcohol. I mean, in a sense, my mind, in terms of the brain, is trying to use me to feed itself cigarettes and to feed itself alcohol and drugs and sex with other people. But my body is always telling me, no, I don't feel like the sex and drugs with other people. I don't feel like having drugs for myself because I feel good already. So why would I have toxins or I mean, why would I have alcohol and stuff like that when I feel good already? I understand. So the whole point of life is to feel good, yeah? Because everybody wants that feeling. So I want the feeling of being able to go around the world, traveling financially free, and being able to say, hey, I want to go to Spain right now, and I want to go and visit the whole Spain country with my finances, and I want to have financial freedom so that I can travel the world, so I never have to worry about having finances anymore. So what you do is you tackle it through feeling, and you must understand that all you really want from that situation where you want to travel the world is a great feeling. I mean, all you want is just a feeling to be able to accomplish something for yourself through feelings. I mean, you understand? So, for example, I mean, have you ever traveled the world? I mean, 99% of you are going to say no. I promise you, have you ever traveled the whole world? I mean, have you ever seen all the countries of the world? I promise you, most of you are going to say no. I mean, you must understand that Jesus Christ also has only visited Israel, and Jesus Christ never went around the world other than he went to Israel and he traveled the whole Israel. I mean, in a sense, so you must understand that you have far more than Jesus Christ. But the thing is that if you've never traveled the whole world, and if you've never seen, for example, all the countries of the world, then all you're looking for in that is a feeling. I mean, you want the feeling of being able to go around the world and see all the countries, yeah? I promise you want a feeling. I promise you want to feel good about that. I mean, you want to say, hey, I finally visited all the countries of the world. I mean, you want to be able to say that, yeah? I promise you that's because your mindset is trying to tell you that. But the thing is that your feelings is what you need to be doing in the moments while you're actually saying that. So what you want to be doing is you want to be feeling good. I mean, you understand? So when you're actually traveling the whole world, it feels good to be able to travel, yeah? Honestly, it feels good to be able to travel the whole world and see the whole life in terms of to see all the countries, for example. I mean, that feels good, yeah? But you can feel good right now. I mean, why do you have to wait until that big moment happens? I mean, why not feel good right now and say, hey, I can travel the whole world right now through my feelings? I mean, why not be in your feelings right now? Because when you're in your feelings, you can overcome the situation and you can understand that all you're really looking for in that is a feeling. I mean, in a sense, so for example, I want to be a DJ and I want to get myself a DJ deck. And why do I want to get myself a DJ deck? Because I want to feel how I feel in the moment of having to DJ my own music. I want to feel my way through that. I want to be able to feel myself DJ. I want to feel. I mean, the goal is to get the DJ deck, for example. So once I get the DJ deck, I mean, what's the goal really? I mean, the goal really is to feel myself DJing. I want to feel myself DJing. I want to experience a feeling in that. I mean, in a sense, so that's why I get myself the DJ deck, because I want to feel myself to DJ that. But the mindset's going to say, let's get the DJ deck so that I can play music. And that's what the mindset is going to say. I mean, the mind's going to say, let me get a DJ deck so I can play my music. But what's the feeling behind that? I mean, understand? I mean, you must understand that the mindset never wants to have the feeling. I mean, the mindset wants to achieve goals. I mean, the mind wants to go around the world, and that's it. But the feeling and the heart wants to go and feel good right now. So your feelings want to feel good right now. So for example, let's say, I've never seen all the countries of the world. I mean, understand? But let's say that I already understand how I feel about that situation right now. I feel as good as I can be right now. I feel really good that I understand that I never need to go around the world traveling to all these countries to experience a feeling. I mean, do you have to go around the world traveling and experiencing all the feelings of life? I promise you, what you have to understand is you need to experience all the feelings of life, but do you really need to go traveling? I mean, you can travel right now in your feelings. I mean, you can feel good about that situation now. So for example, I've never seen all the countries of the world, but I have the feeling like I have. I have the feeling right now that no matter what, I feel good right now, just like I would be feeling that if I already went around the world traveling and knowing that experience. So the experience is the feeling. So if you understand, for example, that if I went around the world traveling, what I'd be doing is feeling the situation. So I want the feelings. So I just want the feelings. So for example, Argentina. I've never been to Argentina. I mean, but let's say the mind. I say the mind wants to achieve the goal of being in Argentina. But what's behind the goal? I mean, what exactly are you trying to accomplish by being in Argentina? I mean, your mind may say, well, I want to see all the places. So that's what the mind says. But what's behind that? I mean, behind that, in terms of behind seeing Argentina, is the feeling of Argentina. I mean, so for example, if I go to Argentina, I mean, my mindset says, hey, I achieved the goal of being in Argentina. I mean, what's now? What now? I mean, once you get to Argentina, I mean, have you ever been to Egypt or, I mean, let's say you've never been to a country before, but once you get there, first you what now? I mean, you achieved your goal. Yeah. So you achieved your goal, but what now? I mean, now it's a feeling. Now it's the feeling of that country. I mean, you want to experience the feeling of going to that country, yeah? I mean, you want to experience the feeling of achieving those goals. The feeling. I mean, you want to feel good. So why do bodybuilders go to the gym? I mean, they go to the gym not to pump muscle and not to build muscles, but to feel good. They go because they want to feel good. So Arnold Schwarzenegger at 21 looks mighty impressive. I mean, his body is looking really good. And he says in a video that it's like he was ejaculating so much. For example, guys ejaculate, for example, the sperm, you understand? Ejaculate the sperm, you understand? It feels good. For example, a woman, when she gets really an orgasm, that's how it feels. So when you get an orgasm, that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger's feeling all the time at 21, because he's feeling like an orgasm all the time. He's feeling really good because he has body. He has a body. He has a really great body. You understand? And he achieved the goal, but he's saying in the video that he feels like an orgasm. He feels really good about everything. So that's the whole thing. That's why bodybuilders and people who pump the weights and people who pump the iron are feeling. They're feeling really good about themselves, and that's why they go to the gym. They exercise because they want to feel good. So if you go exercising, what are you trying to achieve? If you go to the bodybuilding classes, or if you go training, for example, jiu-jitsu, or if you go boxing and stuff like that, and you're punching and sweating, what exactly are you trying to experience? What exactly are you trying to overcome? What exactly are you trying to achieve by punching the bag? What are you trying to really experience by pumping the iron and pumping the weights? What exactly are you trying to do? Are you trying to achieve a better outcome? Are you trying to achieve a better body? Are you trying to achieve much more fitness? Or are you trying to experience a feeling? So you have to understand that bodybuilders and Mr. Universe or Miss Universe or Miss America, or any type of person who's trying to feel good, or any type of person who's trying to achieve something is trying to feel good. They're just trying to feel good. So when you see a sexy woman or a sexy man, why are they so sexy? They're sexy because they have a great feeling. That's it. They have a great feeling. So when they have a great feeling, they're trying to actually achieve more. So when you're achieving more, it's because you want a great feeling about that and you want to be feeling good. So the whole point of being able to be attractive is to feel your way through life. And it's about making sure that you drop into your feelings. So for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger pumps all the iron and pumps the weights, and he's even today doing gym, for example, because he wants to feel good, and never because he has to go to the gym, and never because he wants to have big muscles. I'm sure he's going there because he wants a feeling. I'm promise you. So do you have goals? Do you have goals? I promise you. Why do you have those goals? What are your reasons for having those goals? Why? Why do you have that goal? What is your reason about that goal? Why do you have that reason about that goal? Because you want to achieve a feeling. In a sense, so if you have goals, it's because you want to achieve a feeling of that. In a sense, so for example, I have goals. I want to have $5,000 a month in cash from real estate every single month. But the thing is, what I really want behind that is a feeling. I want to feel good. I want to feel good about that. In a sense, so I can feel good about that right now. I can feel good. You can feel good about your goals right now. So the whole point is dropping back into your feelings. So when you drop back into your feelings, time flies. Time really goes quick because my mindset may be craving food and drugs. So for example, right now, my mindset is craving a drink. I realize my mind right now is craving a drink. But I drop back into the feelings, and is my body saying, is my body feeling I'm feeling my body right now. I'm feeling the feelings right now. My feelings are telling me that I don't need to drink. Or else my mind is telling me have a drink of water. Or else my mind right now is telling me have a drink of water. But my body and my feelings is saying that I have sufficient amount of water already. I already have water in my body. So I'm not dehydrated. But my body says right now, in terms of my feelings, tell me that I don't need a drink. But my mind tells me, yes, you do need a drink. So do you understand? So your mindset is going to crave food and drugs and sex with other people. But your feelings are going to tell you another thing. And it's going to tell you another way of life. So you must understand that, for example, right now, my mind is craving water, but my body is telling me that I already have water. In a sense, so that's the thing. So your mind is always craving food and drink. Your mind is always craving sex with other people. Your mindset, in terms of your mind, is always craving goals to be achieved. But your feelings are always craving this moment. Your feelings is always wanting to be in this moment. But your mindset, in terms of your mind, doesn't know what this moment is. Because your mind is filled with thoughts. So Jamie Smart says, feel those thoughts. Be in the feelings and feel the thoughts of life. In a sense, so when you feel the thoughts, you never attach yourself to a thought because, for example, my mind tells me, have a drink. But I feel that. I feel the thoughts. And I ask myself, hey, does my feelings tell me, do I need a drink? I say, my feelings tell me no. I say, my feelings tell me that I don't need a drug. I don't need the water right now. So I have energy. So for example, when I feel myself right now, I have energy. So I don't need to eat. I don't need to eat until I need to feel some energy. In a sense. So to feel energy, you have to eat. In a sense. So you must understand that right now, I'm not hungry in my body. But eventually, my body is going to start craving food and drink. Eventually. And then I'm going to ask myself, how much energy do I have right now? So if I still have energy, then there's no need to eat right now. So that's the whole point of being in the body, guys. So when you're in the body, when you're feeling your way through life, you're actually in the body and you're in the awareness of in the body. So you must understand, because my mind right now is still craving water, I'm still in the body. And I'm delaying gratification with my body. So if you want to delay gratification, you drop back into the body, which is your feelings, and start feeling your way through life. And when you feel your way through life, you're going to feel good all the time. I mean, sense, so your mind always craves drugs, and your mind always craves the drinks and alcohol and the drugs, always. But my feeling today is telling me, hey, go to Ivy. I mean, go to a nightclub tonight. I mean, my feeling is feeling good. I want to go and socialize with someone. I feel like I want to socialize with somebody. I mean, so the thing is that my mindset, in terms of my mind, says no. I mean, my mind says no. I mean, my mindset says don't talk to anybody. But my feeling tells me go talk to people. I mean, in a sense, so you have to decipher, are you living in the mind or are you living in the feelings? So every single day you have to understand to live in the feelings. So when you live in the feelings, you're going to be able to overcome situations and you're going to be able to feel good. So right now my feelings are telling me, hey, look, I'm pumped up. I'm feeling good. I mean, do you understand? I'm feeling good about myself. So when I feel good, even though I have much more, let's say, weight on me right now, I still feel good about the situation. I have a doctor's appointment very soon, but I'm feeling good to go. I'm feeling good and I'm feeling my way through life. I mean, in a sense, so when I'm feeling myself through life, I'm feeling always good. So that's the whole point. I mean, you understand? When the whole point is enjoying yourself. So to enjoy yourself, be in the body. I mean, be in the feelings of life, because you want to feel orgasm. I feel orgasm right now. I still feel I feel orgasm. Even though I don't have all those big muscles, I still feel good. I still feel good about myself. I mean, in a sense, so that's the whole point of feeling good about yourself. So if you poison yourself with drugs and alcohol, then you have to ask yourself why. I mean, guess what? I mean, that's because you're in the mind and you're living in the mind. So if you're overweight and if you're obese, it's because you're living in the mind. I mean, in a sense, so I am a bit overweight right now, but that's because I was living in my mind. I mean, in a sense, so when I'm in the body and when I feel my body, I realize my body wants to feel good. I mean, in a sense, so to feel good, I never need food and drinks to feel good. I never need drugs to feel good. I never need sex with other people to feel good. I mean, in a sense, so you have goals, and I'm sure you guys have goals, but you have to be achieving more goals, yeah? But once you achieve the goal, what exactly are you trying to do? I mean, what exactly are you trying to do once you achieve the goal? I promise you want to feel the situation. I mean, you want to achieve a feeling. I mean, in a sense, so for example, let's say your goal is to go to Egypt. I mean, let's say you come to Egypt now. I mean, let's say you just made it to Egypt for the first time in your life. I mean, what now? I mean, now it's the feeling. I mean, now, how does it feel to finally be in Egypt? I mean, that you're trying to feel, you're trying to feel good about yourself. I mean, so that's why you that's why you set goals. I mean, you set goals because you want to feel good about those goals once you achieve them. I mean, because the mind, for example, this is the mind. I want to go to Egypt. And then you're planning with your mindset, for example. And your mindset is your feelings. I mean, just remember that. So once you achieve the goal, your mind says, I want to go have food and drink right now in Egypt. Once you have the food and drink, then your mind says, I want to go sleep. I mean, your mind wants to go sleep, for example. But the thing is, your mind is always just trying to achieve a goal. But your mind never wants to achieve a feeling. I mean, your mind never wants to achieve the feeling. But if you come back into the feeling, then you may ask yourself this, that once you get to Egypt, you just want to walk around because you feel good. I mean, why do you want to eat straight away? I mean, why do you want to go eat food and drink when your body, in terms of your feelings, doesn't feel like eating food and drink, for example? So your mind's going to tell you, go and achieve goals without the feeling. But your feelings are going to tell you, achieve the goals so you can have a feeling. But the thing is that your feelings can already feel that situation right now. So you can always feel the situation and you can always be in the present moment. So that's the whole point of being in the present moment. So when you're actually in the present moment, all you're really trying to do is achieve a feeling. And you're never trying to achieve a goal when you're in the present moment. All you're really doing is achieving the feeling in life. And just remember that. So every single day of your life right now, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, are you craving anything in terms of the mind? What's your mind craving right now? I promise you, your mind has to be craving a feeling. So you have to understand that if you may be craving food and drinks right now, it's because you want to achieve a feeling of eating something. I mean, there's a feeling right there. In a sense, so you must understand that if you're crying, it's because you feel like crying. I mean, if you want to achieve goals, it's because you feel to achieve a goal. I mean, it's not because of your mind. I mean, nothing happens because of your mind. Unfortunately, it happens because of your feelings. I mean, in a sense, so when you're in the feelings, you're always understanding much more. So, for example, I don't feel like having water right now because I feel good. I feel good already. So there's no point in having water right now. But let's say to clear my throat, I mean, I can have some water if I need to clear my throat. I mean, you understand? Because then my feelings say, hey, there's tightness in the throat and I need to have water to feel my throat doing much better. So every single time you must understand that people go exercise and they run for 30 minutes a day because they want to feel good. I mean, in a sense, so you have to achieve a feeling. I mean, in a sense, so the whole point of me doing busking yesterday, I went to a busking performance because I went to feel my way through life. I went to feel, once again, how it feels to be in front of people, to speak in front of people, and to be able to feel that situation. And my heart gave me some adrenaline. I had some adrenaline going and I was feeling good. So when you have adrenaline going, it feels good. And adrenaline is the fight and flight mode where you feel like you have to run away or you have to stand and fight. And I felt that I have to talk, I have to do something. And that's every single time I do a video like this, I'm always feeling adrenaline. I'm feeling adrenaline right now because I have to put myself in a scenario where I have to talk. I mean, I have to do something to talk. I have to feel my way through the video. But once I feel my way through the video, I feel good. I feel good about the video. I feel good about what I've made so far. And I'm teaching people something about spirituality. So spirituality is the feeling of what you're feeling in the moment. I mean, you understand? So if you want to overcome a situation, it's because you want to feel good about that situation and you want to feel yourself happening. I mean, you understand? You want to be happening all the time. So to be happening, you have to feel your way through life. So when you feel your way through life, you have to drop into the feelings and you have to read and you have to go and grow. And when you grow, it's because you want to achieve a feeling. I mean, in a sense, so the whole point of feeling your way through life is to feel your thoughts. So as Jamie Smart says, feel your thinking, because your thinking is the thoughts. So a thought arises, but you are not your thoughts. I mean, you are not your thoughts. I mean, just remember that. You are not the thoughts that are happening in your mind. You are the feeling that's happening in your body. You are something that's omega. I mean, you are the mighty omega, for example. So you are Jesus Christ. I mean, in a sense, so Jesus Christ goes through life, feeling his way through life. So when he goes into the desert to walk, he's going to search for a feeling. I mean, in a sense, so when he does anything to talk, he's trying to achieve a feeling. So I'm trying to achieve a feeling right now in this video. I'm trying to feel good about this video. I'm trying to understand something about this video that I've given, because it's going to help someone. And when I'm helping, when I'm helping more people, and when I'm helping somebody, or when I'm helping someone, I'm feeling good about that situation. I mean, in a sense, so kindness happens from the feelings, but the mind is destructive. I mean, you're saying, the mind wants to feel destructive. I mean, in a sense, so what you need to do is you have to discipline your mind. And to discipline your mind, you have to be in the body and you have to be in the feelings. I mean, so you have to feel your mind. So feel the mind. I mean, feel the thinking, which is feel the mind. I mean, in a sense, so to feel the mind, you never fill your mind with thoughts. You make sure you feel the thoughts. I mean, feel all those thoughts arising within you. So, for example, my feelings tell me that, hey, contact John. I mean, John's my friend. So my feeling says, yeah, contact him and see if he wants to go clubbing tonight. I mean, so that's a feeling. I mean, what do I want to achieve at the nightclub? I want to achieve a feeling. I mean, I want to achieve a feeling, but I feel good already. I mean, in a sense, so I want to go to feel my way through a journey somewhere. So that's why I want to go travel all the way there, because I feel myself saying, hey, I want to feel that situation one more time, where I want to listen to music, I want to be around people to feel my way. I mean, in a sense, so that's the whole goal. So for myself to get to Argentina, I have to feel my way there. I mean, in a sense, so I have to feel my way through life. So for example, every single time I feel, I'm always feeling my way through having a nice and beautiful time. So for example, if I want to message someone, it's because I want to achieve a feeling. I want to achieve a feeling. I mean, it's always because you want to achieve a feeling. I mean, if I want to make music, it's because I make music how? I mean, how do I make music? I mean, do I make it with my mind or do I make it with my feelings? I make it with my feelings because music makes me feel good. I mean, why do I listen to music? I mean, is it because my mind wants to or is it because my feelings want to? I promise you it's because my feelings want to. I mean, you're saying, I mean, why are you watching this video? I mean, is it because your mind is interested or is it because your feelings are interested? I mean, is it because your mind wants to watch the video or is it because your feelings want to watch the video? I mean, why do you want to watch this video? I mean, is it because you want to achieve the mind or do you want to achieve a feeling? I promise you want to achieve a feeling, yeah? So the whole feeling is getting you back into the present moment, yeah? So the whole point of this video is to get you back into your feelings. I mean, so that's why this whole video is coming together to make you feel the situation. So what are you feeling right now about this video? I promise you 100% of the time you're feeling good. I promise you 99% of the time you're feeling good. And maybe sometimes 1% of you are feeling really shit right now because you did some drugs recently or because of something that happened with you in terms of the feelings. So you must understand that 100% of the time you're always feeling good. I mean, understand? And you have to understand 99% of the time you're feeling good. I understand? But if you feel shit right now, then it's because you ate something or it's because you drank something or it's because you did drugs or you had sex with somebody. I mean, you understand? But if you have sex with somebody, does it feel good to have sex with other people? I promise you it feels good. I promise you it feels good to have sex with other people. But the thing is that the mind always wants to have sex with other people, but the feelings never need to have sex with other people to feel good. I mean, you never need to have sex with other people to feel good. I mean, do you need sex with other people to feel good? Actually, you never need sex with other people to feel good. I mean, look at Jesus Christ. I mean, Jesus Christ never had sex with other people and he felt good about himself. I mean, you understand? I mean, you must understand. So what's important is loving yourself. So I'm always loving my word I. I'm always loving who I am because I'm feeling my way through life and I'm always delivering content. So when I deliver content like this, it helps someone. So has this video helped you so far? I mean, what is the #1 trait of this video that's helped you? I promise you, it's something that brings you back into the present moment, yeah? So what brings you back into the present moment? I promise you, it's a feeling. I promise you, a feeling of experiencing is the feeling. I mean, so when you're actually feeling your way through life, you're actually experiencing the present moment through feelings. So I feel good about myself. I see chocolate right here. Look at this. I have chocolate right here. I mean, my mind says eat it. I mean, saying my mind's telling me eat it, whereas my mind is always telling me eat food and drugs. I mean, always. I mean, my mind right now wants methamphetamine. I promise you, my mind wants to feel all the dopamine. I mean, you see, I mean, if I ate that chocolate, I'd feel shit. I feel like shit. I mean, I'd feel like shit. I mean, imagine stuffing yourself with all this chocolate and all this food and drink. I mean, guess what happens? Oh, I mean, stomach ache. Yeah. I promise you, when you actually eat so much food and drink, you have a stomach ache, yeah? And then, it never feels good anymore. You understand? And because why? I mean, because you're too much in the mind. You understand? I mean, you're too much in the mind. I mean, you're saying, you are not your mind. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you are not your mind. You are the feelings. I mean, so that's what you are. You are a spiritual being. But the mind doesn't know, the mind doesn't know what spiritual is. Are you able to define your feelings through the mind? No. Nobody can define this present moment because the present moment is feeling. And you can never define it, but you can be. And you're a being when you're actually feeling through life. So when you're actually feeling your way through life, you're a being. I mean, you can be. So I'm feeling this video, but I'm a being. I'm someone who can be. I can just be. I can let this video be with my being. So for example, my mind is craving the chocolate, but I understand if I have too much chocolate, I have a stomach ache. And that's the thing. I mean, is my feeling craving a chocolate? I promise you, my feeling is not craving a chocolate because I feel good already. So why do I need the chocolate? I feel good already. So my feeling is never craving drugs and sex with other people. But the mind always wants sex with that beautiful woman or man. The mind wants drugs. The mind wants sex with other people. The mind wants to be destructive. But if you want to be I mean, if you want to be in self-denial, which is a good thing, to be in self-denial and to deny yourself gratification is to be in your feelings. So feel good about the situation already and shape your body with your feelings. So if you want to lose weight, you have to feel your weight. I mean, in a sense, so the whole point is discipline. So make sure you're disciplining yourself to understand that if you eat that whole pizza, is it going to make you feel good? I mean, that's the thing. I promise you, it may make you have a stomach ache. I mean, if you fill yourself up with food and drink, I mean, you feel like shit. In a sense, so the whole thing is emptiness. And it's to be empty. So right now, I'm feeling empty. I'm feeling empty. But the thing is, I feel good. I'm feeling empty. I have emptiness inside of my body, yeah? I have emptiness right now in my body. But the thing is, I never need food and drinks. I never need food and drugs. I never need anything other than my feelings. So you need your feelings. I mean, you understand? I mean, you need to feel good. So that's why you exercise. And that's why you go for a walk. And that's why you talk. I mean, that's why you actually live life, because you want to feel. I mean, you want to enjoy the process of feeling. I mean, you understand? So when you're going to your job today, what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to feel your way through there. I mean, you're going to experience the feeling. So for example, the mind never wants to travel 3 hours a day to get to work. But the feeling does. And the feeling wants to travel 3 hours a day to get to work. Because the feeling is feeling good, and you're feeling good. I mean, you're enjoying the feeling of life. I mean, enjoy the process, yeah? So to enjoy the process, what do? I mean, you have to be in the feeling. I mean, understand? So that's the whole point of life, guys. And every single time, now, for example, when you have an itch or when you have to scratch yourself, for example, I mean, the mind is going to tell you scratch, 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 scratch. But the feeling is going to tell you don't scratch. I mean, the feeling is going to say that if you scratch too much, I mean, if you scratch your skin too much, guess what happens? You start to feel like shit. I mean, understand? Because once you start really scratching your itch, I mean, then you have a massive rash. I mean, do you know one of those rashes where you have all this red going on your face, and then when you touch it, it's sore. I mean, then it starts to feel like shit. You understand? Because your feeling is going to tell you don't scratch, but your mind's going to say fucking scratch, scratch, scratch as much as possible. And then guess what? I promise you, then you have a scar. I promise you, then you have a scar. I mean, yeah. So guess what? I promise you, if you have a pimple, then guess what? I understand that the mind is going to say pop it. I mean, the mind's going to say pop it. I mean, but the feelings is going to say let it be. I understand? Because you don't need to pop it to feel good. I mean, understand? And it's just a nice and beautiful, classy way of saying that you have to be in your feelings. I mean, understand? So that's the whole point of the video, guys, and making sure that you understand present moment. So I feel Holy Spirit with me right now. So when you're feeling your way through life, you always have the Holy Spirit with you. And the Holy Spirit is always with you when you're feeling. I mean, understand? So, for example, I have soy milk right here, and my mind wants to drink it. Whereas my mind wants to drink it, but my feeling says, no, I feel already healthy. I already feel my way through life. I mean, in a sense, I'm feeling good about the situation already. So I never need to drink it. I never need to fill my body with so much water. I mean, in a sense, so if you have so much water, and too much water is not a good thing. I mean, in a sense, so make sure you understand that anything that's not good is having too much to drink and too much to have food and drink in you. So make sure you understand that you never need to fill yourself up with so much food and drink to feel good. I mean, try to have an empty body. I mean, try to have an empty mind. I mean, to have an empty mind is to have mindfulness. I mean, so to have mindfulness is to be in your body and to be in the feelings. So that's what I've learned throughout my life, and that's why I've been reading a lot of Buddhism. And Buddhism means to be in the feelings and to be enlightened and to find nirvana is to be in the feelings. I mean, and so when you're actually feeling your way through life, you're going to feel great and you're going to feel much more alive. And then what you do is you shape the body and you shape your mindset and you shape your life through a feeling, and you try to actually reach a greater feeling all the time. So that's the whole point of exercising, and that's the whole point of going to the gym and getting great muscles, because you want to feel good. I mean, you understand? So what I say to my customers and my clients is make sure you understand to have a Jesus Christ looking body. I mean, understand? So if you're a lady or a man, try to look like Jesus Christ. I mean, understand? First of all, never get overweight and never get obese. I mean, understand? So Jesus Christ has a healthy body, and make sure you have a healthy body look and look healthy. I mean, understand? So for example, look at my fashion photos and my Instagram photos of me, and I look very healthy because I'm not taking drugs. I'm not doing anything that's preventing me from succeeding. I mean, so I'm always feeling my way through life, and I'm making sure that I have all the time in the world, all the time. So every single day of my life, I'm always feeling my way, and I'm making sure you understand that. I'm making sure you understand that it's just about a feeling. So when cigarette smokers reach for a cigarette, it's because they are trying to feel good about themselves. But the mind, all the mind wants is the dopamine. All the mind, in terms of your mind, all your mind wants is a dopamine hit. The mind wants dopamine. You understand? And dopamine is a chemical reactor in your brain that if you have the chocolate, you're going to feel good in the brain. Your mind's going to feel good. So if you have too much food and drink, and you're eating too much, your mind feels good. Your mind's feeling good, but you feel like shit. Your mind will feel good if you have sex with other people. Guess what? When you have sex with other people, do you have sex with the mind while you're having sex with them, or do you have sex with them with the feelings? Or do you have sex to have the feeling? So you're trying to achieve a goal. So for example, many people have a goal of having an orgy, for example, or having sex with multiple people. Because they want to achieve a feeling. I promise you, a guy wants to have a sex with a beautiful woman in her asshole, and he wants to put his dick in her asshole because he wants to feel good about that situation. But the mind wants to achieve that because the mind wants a dopamine hit, and all your mind really wants is dopamine. Your mind is always looking for something to eat, and your mind's always looking for something to drink, and your mind's always looking to self-destruct. But your feelings is already feeling good. So make sure you pay attention to your feelings, guys, because that's going to help to be your moral compass. So your feelings are your moral compass. So when you feel your way through life, then you're going to be feeling great, and you're going to be feeling a greater way of life. So when you're having a cigarette, make sure you're feeling. Make sure you're feeling the experience, because you're going to feel good. And you must understand that if you're having too much cigarettes, then you feel like shit. You'll feel like shit if you're having too much coffee, or if you're having too much cigarettes or drugs. You'll feel like shit. I promise you. So what you have to understand is never poison your body, and never poison the temple of God. Your body is the temple of God. So make sure you're always cleansing it. Cleanse it with feeling. So make sure you're always feeling your way through life. So when you feel your way through life, you're always going to be able to have a greater experience. So when you actually understand that when you jump off a plane and you're parachuting, does your mind want to have that moment? I promise you now, the mindset says maybe yes or no. I promise you, your mind maybe wants to have a feeling, but the mind is unable to feel that situation. I promise you, the mind can never feel your way through life. In a sense, so what you really understand is people go parachuting because they want to achieve the feeling of falling down. Imagine falling down off a plane. Do you understand how your intestines go up, and your intestines and your liver and your guts all have a positive feeling because you're jumping out of a plane, and when you're falling, it feels good, yeah? Because it's ecstasy. It feels like a great type of elastic feeling. You understand? Because you want to achieve a feeling about that moment. You understand? But the mind, if you're jumping from a plane, and if you're too much in the mind, you'll never feel. You'll never feel the situation, and then you'll be like, yeah, I achieved it. But there's no feeling there. But if you are never in the mind in the first place, and you jump off the plane and you're just feeling your way, you're going to say, woo! You're going to say, you're going to experience this. To experience is to be in the feeling. You understand? So why do you want to achieve a kiss from a girl or guy? Why do you want to achieve life? You want to achieve life because you want a feeling. You understand? So it's about a feeling all the time. So that's the whole point of bodybuilding, and that's the whole point of going above and beyond for yourself. So that's how you actually reach the present moment, and that's how you actually lead people. So when you're actually public speaking, you actually want to achieve a feeling, and that's why you're going there to achieve a feeling. But if you're living too much in the mind, then you're cruising through life like a zombie. The mind is like a zombie. Understand? So when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? First, you get into the feelings, and you start feeling your way. But what's the first thing you do when you start falling asleep? I promise you be in the feelings, and be in the feelings while you are sleeping. You understand? So make sure you understand it's much more important to be in the feelings today than it is to be in the mind. So this whole video has taught you why you must be in the feeling. I mean, essentially, you must be feeling your way through life, because that's the only way of life. And you have to understand that when you achieve a feeling, you're always feeling great. I mean, essentially, so delayed gratification. So the more you understand to delay gratification, guys, is the more you actually be in the feeling. So be in the feelings much more often so you can achieve a greater way of life.